Okay, let's talk about chaining the functions. Chaining means that the second function will use the outputs of the first function as input. So let me schematize this. Our first function is find word count. This function gets a text and returns an integer. So it gets a sentence, Java, and find the words inside it and returns the word count, and it's 3. And our second function gets an integer and returns the text representation of this integer. So it gets integer 1 and returns 1 in text. Okay? So we are chaining these two functions as the number of the words inside this sentence will be written as a string. So this function will output 3, and the second function will get this 3 to output 3 in text. Okay? We may schematize this like this. So we will use compose method, and then method, etc. Okay, let me show you how to do that first. First, we need to apply find word count function by this argument. Okay, this will output 3, and we may apply 2 number to string method, and it will return 2. So if we use function chaining, we will first apply find word count and then the second method. If you are using function chaining, you need to delay invoking the apply method to the very last function. Till then, you need to invoke and then method. First method, and then the second method, and then the third method, blah 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 blah, and then the next method, and then the last method, dot apply. So you will get the first argument to the last function's apply method. Okay? So find word count, dot, and then number to string. This is a function reference, as I said you in the previous videos, and then apply method. So you will put the first argument to the very end. Okay? So the output will be 3 in this case. Now let's write this code. Okay, this was our first method. Let's write the other method, function. Our method will get a string and return an integer. Let's say word count function, and let's create a subclass of this interface, an anonymous inner class. Our types is string integer. Okay, you put the curly braces, and then you get the compiler error and add unimplemented methods. String is automatically written here, and integer is written here automatically. So this should be same, and this should be same. So the superclass subclass relation may be set up, but I will not talk about it. Let's implement this t.split with single blank characters and then length. Let's return this. We develop the second method. Okay, the important point is that after this curly braces you need to put a semicolon, because this is an ordinary definition. Okay, let's invoke this method here. Word count function dot apply. Let's write something. And the output will be an integer. So the output will be referred by an integer reference. Let's say word count, and let's print out it. Word count. We will see 3 here. Let's see it. So we got 3 here. Let's add something new. Okay, we will see 4. So 4. So this is how we define function and refer it and execute the function. Okay, now let's chain them. Let me return to the schema first. Our first function is the word count function. So we will first invoke it by apply method and then the other method. First the word count and then the other function. The other function is number to text. As you can see, we are referring to functions as if they are regular objects. This is the greatness of Java 8. Number to text, and then apply. So the arguments you supply here will be used inside this word count function first, and output of this function will be used inside this function. So let's write something new. What will be the output of this function chaining? It is string, because this chain's result will be the last method's output type. So it is the number to text methods, number to text functions output type, and it is string. So we may refer it by a string text. Okay. What if I try to refer by an integer? You see, we get a compilation error. It says cannot convert from string to integer, because the result will be the last function's output type, and it is string, but we are trying to refer it by an integer, so it is wrong. So let me convert it to string again, so everything is fine, and then sysout text. So what we expect as result, let's write something new. String will be applied to word count function first, and it will return 4, and 4 will be an input to number to text function. Let's go there. 4 will be here, and 4 is not defined here, so the result will be unknown. Okay, let's try it. So if I delete 2 words here, we will see 2 as a text here. 2, you see? So we changed the functions. First we applied this logic and then this logic. This is the most important principle of functional programming. Now let me change and then method to compose. Compose method says that first this function will be invoked, and then this function will be invoked. We changed the orders, okay? But we got a compilation error because the order has been changed. So first this function will be executed. What you passed here as an argument should be as the same type of number to text function's input type. So its input type is an integer, so you cannot pass a string here. You may pass an integer here. Okay? 6. And you will invoke the number to text method first, and this will return unknown in this case. And after that, this unknown method will be passed to here, because you used compose method. Unknown text will be supplied here, and it will split it by blank characters here, and then it will get the length as an integer. In this case, you need to refer it by an integer. You got it? Let's say text as int, and you see 1, because when you split unknown text by blank characters, you only get 1 element, so the result is 1. So I think you understood the difference between and then and compose. You may chain more than 2 functions by using compose apply, apply, whatever you want, and at last you need to supply a proper argument. In the next video, I will show you the rule for chaining. See you then.